Hi Nellie, it's so great to see you.
Good to see you.
It's now been, I think, a year since you finished VCE with us. How did you actually come to do VCE at Chisholm?
Actually, my mum had looked into it for my older brother because he had done the Year 10 equivalent at Chisholm. And I never was a big fan of high school. I was never a big fan of school in general. And so my mum was just always like, hey, if you ever need it, this option is available. Like, not saying you will, but it's here. So always keep that in mind. And I always did. And then eventually I just took advantage of it.
And how did you find when you first wanted to find out about information or get in touch with us, did you find it quite easy dealing with the department?
Yeah, it was actually really, really easy. Like I am just generally a very stressed out person all of the time. So, trying to go from that transition from like high school to Chisholm was very stressful. And so getting in touch with people, like getting in touch with like the coordinators and everything was like really, really easy. Basically would respond to emails like super quickly, answered my 1,000,006 questions that I had, like am I going to fail? How am I going to transfer my units? Like all of this sort of stuff. And they were just super onto it. So yeah, it was actually really, really easy and just made the process super simple.
When you started your course and you spent 2 years with us completing your VCE, what were some of the differences that you noticed or the things that you really enjoyed during your 2 years?
The structure was like obviously the biggest thing. Like you go from high school, which is 9 to 3 every single day, 5 days a week. But then at Chisholm, it's like your classes are like three and a half hours to 4 hours a day, and you do each class once a week. And that just made it so much easier because like I wasn't going from class to class, and like I wasn't at school all day every day and then coming home and doing homework and all of that sort of stuff. So it gave me a lot more freedom to sort of do like what I wanted to do around VCE. And then I just felt like you call all the teachers by their first names. It's like Mrs. and Mr. and whatnot. And it's just like you come to Chisholm and you're like treated like an adult. You're not treated like just another student that's going to leave in a year and they don't actually care about you. Like the teachers actually really, really care about you and really want you to do well, which is like a very big thing that I noticed.
So as a person that got 93.75, is that right?
93.3.
93.3 for your VCE in remote learning, mind you. What are some of the, I guess, misconceptions that people think about when they go, you're doing VCE at TAFE? What did you find that you learnt wasn't the case?
Well, one thing that I heard once, I was talking to someone about it, and he went to the same high school that I did, and he was having very similar issues to what I was having. And I was like, yeah, like look at Chisholm, like, that's what I'm doing. And he was like, oh, but you don't get an ATAR there. And I was like, yeah, you do. I was like, it'd be very weird if I just did all of this and didn't get an ATAR at the end. So that's one thing I heard that I did not even realize was a thing. But when I actually was like going to leave, the careers coordinator at my high school had a chat with me, and he was like, look, TAFE, they just don't get as good as scores, like blah, 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 blah. And I was like, that doesn't matter. Like, I'm not previous scores. Like, I can do as well as I want to do, And so I think it's just assumed that, like, you just automatically aren't going to do well if you go there, which is just not true. Like, it's the exact same thing as high school. It's like, if you want to do well, then you have the opportunity to do that. If you don't want to do well, then it's fine. So that was a very big thing as well.
I guess on the bat of that, you did so well. Where can you tell us that you've ended up?
Well, I'm at Melbourne Uni now, which is my number one preference. Got into that course that I wanted to get into. I'm doing a double arts major of psychology and criminology. I have moved out of home moved out just before I turned 18. So I'm actually living in student housing in Melbourne. And I'm also a VCE psych tutor now. I work for an